Hey, First Baptist, I wanted to shoot a quick video for you just to reiterate what we saw in the message this past Sunday as we looked at Martha and her busyness and Mary doing the one thing that was necessary. And then I want to also talk to you about a way that we can move in that direction as individuals, as small groups, as discipleship groups, Sunday school classes, and apply some of what we learned and take the next step in what we learned. And then finally, I want to just briefly address the future, where we're going as a church in the midst of where we find ourselves in the year 2020 and in our culture. First of all, if you remember from the message, I hope you were here at Drive-In Church, or either you were watching online. I'm going to try to link the audio of this sermon in the description below. But the main point was Martha's consumed with busyness. Mary's doing the one thing that is necessary. And the one thing that's necessary is that she's sitting at the feet of Jesus, taking in his word. She's receiving the blessing of Christ and his word. And what we saw in the message was that that's only half of the whole answer. Jesus says Mary's doing the one thing that's necessary. She's taking in the blessing. She's receiving the blessing of Christ and his word. The other part of that necessity, the other side of the coin, is not only to receive the blessing, but to be the blessing. So we receive Christ's word, we give Christ's word, we know Christ, we make him known, we receive the blessing of Christ, we give the blessing of Christ. And we saw that very, very clearly patterned for us in the scriptures. So Mary's doing the one thing that's necessary, while Martha's over here busy, Martha's over here stressed. Martha's getting disillusioned with Jesus. Why? Because she's caught up in so many good things, but she's missing the main thing. It reminds me of our church vision. Our church vision is based on Acts chapter 2. And we look at all of those characteristics of that early church. But what we've seen over and over again over the last few years is that the bullseye of that vision is evangelism, disciple making, and missions. Evangelism, disciple making, and missions. And when we do those three things, when we invest right there, when we aim at that bullseye of the church's vision, we cover all of the other things that characterize that Acts chapter 2 church as well. We become a praying people. We become a people who are in the Word. We become a people who are the miracle in the lives of others. We become a worshiping people. We become a fellowshipping people. We become a ministering people. Why? Because we're zoned in on the main thing, and that main thing drives us into all of these other areas by default. So on the heels of the message this week, busyness versus necessity, as we've been reminded of the necessity, even in these interesting days in which we find ourselves, I want us as a church just to stop for a moment and refocus. And I want us to refocus on the bullseye: evangelism, disciple making, and missions. And one of the ways I want us to refocus, one of the ways I want us to focus in on that bullseye and the necessity, is to walk through three books. These are three very small books put out by 9 Marks, and they're in the Building Healthy Church series. And the first one is one of the best books I've ever read on evangelism. It's by Mack Stiles. Evangelism by Mack Stiles, Discipling by Mark Dever, and Missions by Andy Johnson. Did you notice something? This is our bullseye: evangelism, discipling, and missions. What we're going to do is encourage you as an individual to get these three books, as a family, as a discipleship group, as a small group that you form on your own, as a Sunday school class. We don't care how you do it, but we want to challenge you to do it. Take some initiative, use your imagination, get creative, invite some people, invite some friends, invite some neighbors to walk through these three books. And it's as simple as read, mark, and discuss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read 3 chapters a week. They're pretty short chapters. They're easy to digest. I'm going to underline what stands out to me. I'm going to underline anything I have questions about. I'm going to underline anything that I would like to discuss more. And then I'm going to bring that to the table. We're going to open our books together. We're going to walk through the 3 chapters together, hearing what others have underlined, hearing what's spoken to others in the group, hearing what's challenged others in the group. Very informal. Read, mark, discuss. We're going to walk through evangelism, discipling, and missions. And I'm going to put a link to these 3 books below this video so that you can order yours. Now, if you have trouble, you can't afford it, you're in a place where you're not really able to buy those, we have some at the church we can get you. Please don't hesitate to let us know. But I want to challenge you. Think about some people you can invite, whether it's your discipleship group, Sunday school class, part of your Sunday school class, a small group that you can begin to get together with each week. And let's walk through these 3 books as individuals, families, discipleship groups, Sunday school classes, small groups, as a church. Take the initiative to walk through these 3 books together. And let's refocus on the necessity of receiving the blessing of Jesus from His Word and being focused on evangelism, discipling, and missions. Now, with that said, I just want to end this video by letting you know that we don't really have a date in mind of when we go back into the building. The governor just issued a state of emergency until August the 29th in the state of Tennessee. There's still talk of a mask ordinance being required. There's all these different rumors and talks. There's a lot of fears. There's a lot of concerns. We want to press on with the drive-in church. We may modify it a little here and a little there through the summer. We're going to just press on with the drive-in church. We don't want to break it if it's not fixed, or fix it if it's not broken. However you want to look at that. So just know that we'll give you fair warning if at all possible, if there's any change coming in schedule. Right now, we want to worship together as best we can, and we feel like that's drive-in church in the park. We want to get into the Word together through the sermon every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock in the park or online if you can't get out. And we'll look to the future, taking it a week at a time, a month at a time, trying to use wisdom the best we can. But we just want to be together on Sunday as best possible. And we want to encourage you to get together with those that you know that you're comfortable with and spend some time walking through these books for fellowship, for deeper, richer discussion. So that's where we are. That's where we're going, it looks like. So just bear with us, pray for us, join with us in refocusing on this bullseye. And let's look forward to what God's going to do, even in these difficult times. He has a plan. He's in control. He's on the throne. So thank you for taking time to watch this video. Check out the links below if you missed the message, where you can order these books. Get you a list of people together to start walking through these with in your home, at a coffee shop, wherever you want to meet. And let's refocus our attention on what's most important and not be distracted with all the busyness around us or the stressors around us, or be disillusioned. Let's stay the course. Let's stay focused, and let's hang in there together as we seek to make Christ known from here to the very ends of the earth.